Tonight's broadcast is made possible by Strack & Van Til, your favorite Indiana-made grocery store. Crowell Insurance Company, the insurance superheroes. Ironworkers Local 395, proud to be union. Four Seasons Mechanical, quality and comfort is our guarantee. Boilermakers Local 374, earn while you learn. Pulse Technology, leading the way in technological innovation for over 70 years. Visit Michigan City LaPorte, closer than you think, better than you imagine. IBEW Local 697, proud to support high school sports. Bricklayers Local 4, the best hands in the business. Economy Electric Heating and Cooling, keeping you cool in the summer and cozy in the winter. Blythe's Team Sports, where the athlete shops. And Hampton Inn, downtown Indianapolis. This is the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us, and welcome to Game Night in the Region on the Region Sports Network. We come to you today from Indiana University Northwest as the Region Sports Network presents live video of the 2026 Darius Garland All-Star Games as the Futures play the first game of this set. I'm Andrew Mild. I'll have the play-by-play for today's action. And joining me with the color analysis is Zach Miller. Good afternoon, Zach.
Good morning, Andrew. This is a fun way to start off our Sunday here on the Region Sports Network. We got the Region Futures here where we're going to have a sneak peek, a good look at the kids that we're going to see for the next coming years here in Northwest Indiana. Andrew, this is going to be a really fun time this morning to see what we're going to be looking at here going forward.
These are 8th graders playing the first game. We'll have a Rising Stars game and then a Senior Stars for both boys and girls divisions. So these are the fresh faces coming up. We'll see some of the risers, players that will be taking over their programs next year, and some faces that we'll be moving on to the college level. But Zach, we're really excited to be here. Darius Garland is putting on a fantastic event. He's not here, unfortunately, but his dad is Winston Garland, and they're really excited to come back to the region and contribute to this area. Yep,
Winston Garland, of course, he was an NBA pro for about a decade or so, had a really nice career for himself. He was a coach at West Side here for some years. He stayed local here in the community and promoting good events here in the city of Gary and everything proper. This is an awesome event that they've organized here. This is their second year doing it. Our first year at Region Sports being able to cover it. This is going to be a great event here today, capped off by our All-Star games we'll be having later for things. But starting off here now, this Futures game, we're just going to have some fun.
Today's coverage of the 2026 Darius Garland Region All-Star Games is made possible by Bilko's Barbershop. Give them a call at 219-886-1483. And Zach, when you're in a game like this, as a player, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to stand out? Or are you just trying to play some team-organized basketball, maybe work on something that hindered your season?
Well, I'd say, for one, have some fun. This is an event here. You've been invited with your peers of your same level here to showcase yourself, right? So I think it's a mix of have some fun, don't take it too seriously. However, know that you are playing with your peers, so you don't want to get shown up, right? So there's that. But also, I'd say from a competitive advantage, you're playing with some guys who are of a high level, maybe higher level than what you play with your own teammates. So that's going to prepare you for a lot of these guys we're going to see going on to the college level in the near future. You want to learn how to play with players who are good and as good as you, if not better than you, right? Because that's what you're going to have to do to assimilate into the next level.
Right.
An event like this, they're going to be able to get a little bit of a preview of that, of how you're able to move and play with people at your same skill level.
You also mentioned it off air, but a lot of these players might have played at, say, a Crown Point or a Valpo middle school. But it doesn't say they might transfer and go somewhere else. We saw that with Bryce Peters, who went to Maryville, ended up transferring to Crown Point, going to state this past season. So, as a high school coach, are you also paying attention to the talent you're going to see here today?
Yeah, 100%. You're always looking. It's the reality of high school sports now, right, Andrew?
Or just college and high school.
Exactly, just sports, period. You're looking at that. You're building relationships here, right? Whether you're coaches, whether you're assistant coaches, scouts, anything in the basketball-related sphere, even the players on the court, you're looking at building these relationships, seeing who fits. Even if your players on the court saying, hey, I really like playing with this guy. We have a good chemistry. We vibe pretty well. Maybe we'd want to play with each other. Maybe we can make something work here in the future. All these possibilities they open with games like this here today.
We will take a quick break as you're watching Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Gary, Indiana, I'm back. Yep, I'm back at Bilco's every 3 weeks, starting April 28th. I'll be back cutting hair, and I'll be back there doing hair replacement systems. Yes, there is a demand in Gary, Indiana for hair replacement systems, and I'll be the one that'll be servicing you. So come on in for a consultation and come see what Gary, Indiana's best barbershop is doing on 2448 Broadway. Trust me, see you there so I can give you some hair.
Have you heard? Stratford Manteau was voted Best of the Region 2025 in several categories, including Best Caterer, Deli, Flower Shop, Food and Grocery Delivery, Fried Chicken, Place to Buy Produce, Place to Buy Seafood, Loyalty Program, and Grocery Store. We're proud to be recognized by our community, and we're committed to continuing to deliver the variety, value, and convenience you deserve. See for yourself what it means to be the best when you shop at Stratford Manteau.
Hi, I'm Crowd Company's Lantern Man. If you're a contractor, it's my job to make your insurance coverage simple and affordable. Because I know time is money, I'll come to your business. Certificates and bonds are a snap. Wherever you are, whatever business you're in, we've got you covered. As Crowd Company's Lantern Man, I'm your insurance superhero.
Crowd Company's Insurance Professionals, Highland, Merrillville, and Michigan City.
Four Seasons Mechanical proudly serves Northwest Indiana, providing quality, reasonably priced, reliable service. With a quality and comfort guarantee, the professionals at Four Seasons Mechanical offer a wide range of services in heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Whether it's residential or commercial, Four Seasons Mechanical is there 24/7. To find out more, the website is fourseasonsmechanical.com or give them a call at 219-756-7020. Four Seasons Mechanical, your indoor air quality specialist.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
The Sunday morning broadcast is brought to you by our friends at Economy Electric Heating and Cooling. Today's forecast is 47 degrees with 50-mile-per-hour winds. Actually feels like 33. That's the Sunday morning forecast brought to you by Economy Electric Heating and Cooling, keeping you cool in the summer and cozy in the winter. Andrew Mild with Zach Miller, as we are about 3 minutes away from tip-off in the Region All-Stars Futures game. And, Zach, I got to admit that this is the first time I've been in the IUN gym since they've redone it. This is a gorgeous facility.
Yes, before the game I was talking to Athletic Director Ryan Shelton beforehand, saying this is my first time I had been in the gym, period. I was saying this is an incredible facility here. He said, yeah, we've been working on it. We were listening to our fans, our patrons, the athletes, and we want to provide the best experience possible. And I must admit, they're doing that for them, and they've been doing that for us. To see, it was incredibly accommodating and getting us set up here today. So great job to Ryan, the entire staff, and faculty here at IUN. They're getting us for a beautiful backdrop here for these All-Star games.
Just off Broadway here in Gary, Indiana. Zach, let's take a look at the 16 players that will be participating in the Futures game. We have Jake Wheely, Gavin Van Clay, Sam Hunt, Dominic O'Keefe, Hekathan Upshaw, Brian Pullen, Myron Borders, Jeremiah Taylor, Cameron Steele, Tyler Handy, Novik Marjanovic, Jace Davis, King Rice, Jude Lobb, Evan Colson and Justin Johnson. And the two teams will not be wearing numbers today, so we will try our best to keep up with who's who, but still looking for a really good brand of basketball just to get this opened up before we start to see some of the faces we know later on.
Yes, may not have numbers, but trust me, you're not going to be, it'll more than make up for it with the action and level of play on the court. This is the best of the best you're going to find for the 8th graders here around Northwest Indiana. And those names that we just listed, you're going to want to write them down and keep them in your memory because you're going to be hearing them for years to come.
Maybe get their autograph before in case they make it big over here in the region and somewhere else. But you've been covering basketball for a long time, especially here in the region. Do you think that the talent level has grown in the years that you started to now in the region?
Yes, I would say so. I mean, I think you look at guys, the best way to look at that, not just as the level of, like, we're doing better downstate comparatively. Yes. I look at Crown Point making it this year, almost winning the state championship. But I think you look at guys, you know, what the whole nation looks for. Say you look at college basketball, you look at guys like the guy from FIU who made the Sweet 16 who was from 21st Century here.
Oh, yes, yes.
You know, and you have guys like that. You know, we're making splashes here on the national scene. We have guys like Darius Garland, a namesake here of our events here today, a great point guard for the Clippers, formerly for the Cavaliers. You're making a lot of noise in the professional basketball, collegiate basketball, overseas basketball around the world. And a lot of that talent is coming here from the 219. So I would answer your question unequivocally, yes. We're getting a lot. It's growing exponentially here in Northwest Indiana.
Can't also forget the legendary names like Sausage Ivanovic or Robbie Hummel, Crown Point and Valpo alums. The buzzer has sounded and the players are going back to their respective benches. It will be the East in the red and the West in the navy. The PA announcer about to start off this Darius Garland All-Star Games that we're going to see here on the Region Sports Network.
We would like to take this opportunity to thank Darius and the Garland family for providing young people today the opportunity to compete and be recognized as top players in the region. We would like to thank Indiana University Northwest Athletics for hosting the games today. IU Northwest and the NAI are committed to promoting character-driven intercollegiate athletics. The NAI are champions of character program and empower student athletes, coaches, officials, and fans to demonstrate at all times what character truly means in a competitive arena. Please refrain from using profanity or any unsportsmanlike behavior as you support your team this afternoon. The NAI encourages respect between opponents and sportsmanship in all contests. Thank you for your support, and please enjoy the games. At this time, for all who are able, please rise as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem. Gentlemen, please remove all caps and hit waiter.
keep up with all things Region Sports, be sure to check us out on our social media pages. We're always active on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, X, and at our website at regionsports.com. Celebrating over 25 years, we are proud to still be the only game in town.
Today, we ask Lord for a special blessing over their lives, Lord, and then we ask Lord for a special blessing over the life of Darius Garland and his family, Lord. Continue to bless him and bless his abilities, bless his mind, keep him safe from all hurt, harm, and danger, just as you're going to do the kids today. We thank you, we love you, and we praise your holy name. It's in Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Andrew Mild with Zach Miller. This is the Darius Garland Region All-Star Games. Darius Garland, of course, his family from Gary. He played basketball down in Tennessee, though, where he was a Mr. Basketball down in the Volunteer State. He went to Vanderbilt and was a first-round pick to the Cavaliers, and as Zach mentioned, traded at the deadline this year out west to the Clippers in exchange for James Harden. So if you're going to get traded, might as well be for a future Hall of Famer. They're starting to announce some of the player names. And then we have 3 referees. We'll have 20 minutes on the clock. What I'm interested, though, to see, Zach, is if we are going to see these shot clocks being used. They're on, and these 8th graders, of course, have never seen a shot clock before.
I'm interested if they're going to use them as well, Andrew, but I wouldn't be surprised, not to poo-poo it, but maybe they have them on just because they usually do here at IUN. Maybe just, of course, they're used to college basketball. So I don't know if they're going to use them, but maybe they will. And if they do, like you said, that would be a very interesting twist, to get things moving here.
And that's a conversation that a lot of IHSAA fans have, is the implementation of a shot clock. Are you on board for it, or do you think that they should stay away from the shot clock?
Well, I think they should stay without it, but here's why. I think if you're of the opinion, you want to develop kids for the next level, you can do that anyway. No one's stopping you from having a self-imposed shot clock, okay? Right. If you're a coach or a team, you go, okay, we got to get our guys ready. You don't have to sit and do 4 corners offense, okay? No one's stopping you from doing that. However, when you don't have a shot clock, you're allowed to have it allows a little more strategy and thinking, a little more control of the game, which I appreciate that. And even moreover, I appreciate differences between levels of basketball. I like to see a different product. I like when I watch college football, I like that it's 1 foot rather than 2. I know I'm watching something different than the NFL. When I'm watching Indiana high school basketball, there's no shot clock. And that's part of the reason why we love it, because it's different. I'm not watching the same thing I'm seeing in college and in the pros. It's different. So to answer your question, yes, I love that it's different because it's different. And if you want to play differently than how everyone else plays, you can do it. No one's stopping you.
I feel like every year it's a conversation that gets brought up, especially during tournament time, where you see a team use that 4-corner offense. And the game that really kickstarted the conversation again was Hanover Central and Lowell, with the final score, I believe, was 19-8, something along that realm, where it looked like a typo compared to all the other scores in the sectional title games.
Indeed, yes, they did that. And I also know it got some press here, of course, for our team that made it down to state with Crown Point. Yes. They were employing it, in some of their games to hold the leads they were getting, and Coach Salon would put that 4 corners offense out where they'd hold the ball. And, once you get to the tournaments, everyone forgets that you're able to do it until you get there, and people are like, how is this allowed? Where's the shot clock? And it repeats the conversation we're having now that everyone just gets up in arms about it. It's like, dude, if you want to stop it, don't get down in the first place.
That's fair.
If you don't want it to happen, so.
Let me get ready for the opening tip. Again, the East is in the red, the West in the navy. The jump ball is reined in from the West, trying to pass it down low, and the pass is knocked away, and there is going to be a shot clock. A couple of turnovers to start off our game, and that player had his heels out of bounds. The clock constantly running. There's something to keep an eye out. We assumed that these games would be moving pretty quickly. The amount that we're going to have. Nice leave pass, but a missed layup. Pass down the floor, elevating, shot missed, get the offensive rebound. And it looks like they're also going to let them play. It looked like that could have been a foul.
letting them play. And like you said, I mean, we're looking at our sheet here. It looks like the Lady Rising Stars game is for 1. So they want to get this moving, like you said.
Good take and a finish with the right hand. East is on the board first.
Nice scoop.
West setting up, trying to respond after the layup, and a rejection down low. Nice block.
Tell you, with the East there in the red, they have some size.
They do.
For their team between those two bigs down there. He didn't even have to really jump too much, just put the hand up and blocked it out of bounds.
West inbounds it, jab step, going baseline, and another steal. Bit of sloppy play to start off, and you got to wonder, Zach, when's the last time some of these eighth graders played in a game? Their season's been over a lot longer than the high schools.
Let me tell you, to give our fans a little bit of insight, they may not have played an official game, but they were warming up for a while beforehand.
That's true. Might be tired legs. They warmed up for a good hour, I would say.
Yeah, they were out here warming up for a minute. So.
A nice block, fast break, elevate, went for a dunk, and they're going to call a foul. Heard the whistle sound. I would say, Zach, too, watching these eighth graders warm up, the athleticism, I feel, has gotten much better in the region. A lot of these players were getting very close to throwing one down.
Yes, and the skill training here in Northwest Indiana and really in the basketball world proper, I mean, you're getting skill training, resistance training, plyometric training to increase your short-term athleticism. I mean, it is making younger players pop earlier, and especially with that athleticism, you're seeing guys get on the rim here early.
And I would say it also helps you have so much you can access when you just go on YouTube. If you have a question about, hey, how can I jump higher? How can I shoot better? There's a video of Damian Lillard and Steph Curry talking about shooting, and you're going to listen.
Yep.
Shot off to the right, offensive rebound, and last off the West player. The East defense has really stepped up.
Yes, they're going to let nothing easy. You might think, it has All-Star Game in the title here. They're not playing like All-Star Game you might see on NBA All-Star Weekend.
Yeah, that's not even defense. You call that e-fence. No D in the All-Star Game when the scores are somewhere in the 170s pretty constantly. That's a wild shot, but great body control leads to a basket, and East has gone up 6-0.
And I like what I've seen so far from the East. They're not letting anything get to the rim, and then they're getting to the rim nicely on their own end.
Even going with a loose full-court press travel. You're also interested when you go into an All-Star game what the chemistry is going to look like, because a lot of these players have not played together. So now they're just trying to figure out the skills and the tendencies of some of their fellow teammates.
Well, exactly, yes. That's the beauty of an All-Star game is you don't really know what you're getting, but you're trying to collect that massive amount of talent together.
The screen creates separation for a three, left just short, and the West will go the other way.
But as I was saying, trying to put that talent together, seeing what makes it fit, Where you have this much talent on one floor, you have to figure you got to make it work somehow, and that's what All-Star games are for.
Can the West get on the board with a three? They can't. The East playing great defense, but also they're controlling the rebound margin. Turnaround, fade away off the back iron. Coverage of today's All-Star festivities are made thanks to Bilko's Barbershop, and there's a first basket for the West, voted as the top barbershop in Lake County.
Great feed from half court there to get the easy layup.
A blocked three. Numbers for the West. 2-on-1, but a bad pass. They're going to settle for a long mid-range. Nothing but net. And Zach, the West have come alive.
Yes, come alive indeed. The young man in the pink shoes, he has been outside in transition the last 2 buckets for him.
That's a strong take.
What a Euro step. Just looked one way, brought it to the other, underhand with the right.
Navigating his way through traffic and answering that small spurt by the West. Great pass, and the foul will lead to a missed shot. Free throws coming up for the West. Some unselfish basketball being played. I like what I'm seeing.
Yes, like we were saying earlier, you're thinking, you're kind of thinking the different outcomes you could have in an All-Star game. Is it going to be guys being selfish, saying, I want to showcase myself? Not at all to start this game on both sides. It's guys wanting to share the sugar, say, hey, we all got here for a reason. Let's show why all of us are good. And if you're a coach or somebody anywhere in the area and you're looking at this, you love to see that from these young men.
You have to be ecstatic, too, when you get invited to participate in a all-star game like this with some of the top players in your region. Just get an idea of where you are compared to everyone else. Great back cut, great find as well. It is an 8-6 game with 14 minutes left.
Fundamental play there. Drive into the teeth of the defense, have the guy collapse on you, and then back cut against when your guy is helping.
And one.
Guys right there to help him up instantly. It's been some fun, some good play here so far in our first 6.5 minutes.
They're playing quick. Fast-paced basketball. We expected that from 8th graders. And that's really the modern game, too. Get out in transition, either get a short shot underneath or get a three. And you shout out the Golden State Warriors for that.
Pace and space, baby.
Some really good cutting we're seeing from the West and some great passing leading to some buckets.
Well, I just want to touch on a little bit back to what we said earlier about the shot clock and whether it should be in or not. I'm looking every time, Andrew, on this shot clock. It's a 30-second shot clock here. I don't know if it's gotten past 15 once. So these guys are playing quick. You don't need, they do this anyway, so they're playing quick whether they have that shot clock or not.
Another three coming up for the East. That was a line drive that rolled off. Ball tipped out, and it was last off the West player. That was a good save by the East player to be able to throw it off of his leg. Substitution.
Andrew, I want to ask you, I know you're the play-by-play, but I'm thinking if you were an official for an event like this, what is your mindset going into it?
Letting them play. I would say that you have so many games today, you have to get within that short span. Another and one. This East team is playing strong inside, Zach.
Let me tell you, if you're going to be finishing through contact at the 8th grade level, that is a good sign for you moving forward in your development because, your body's only going to develop more as you get older. If you're already finishing through contact this early, watch out.
That grows it to a 6-point lead for the East. But back to your question, I would say I would just let them play. But anything where it's harmful, then I will call it. But anything ticky-tack, I'm just going to let it go. Like reaching fouls. That was a awkward pass. West out in transition. Bad pass goes out of bounds. Turnovers. What you have to expect from 8th graders.
And, it's an all-star game. You're trying something, right? You're maybe in a regular game where, you want to win this, of course. But maybe for one, you're thinking, I don't want to make that pass. You're in the all-star game. Try and make that one. Look
That's
like
true.
Magic Johnson or something,
We talked about it. This could be a game to work on things, almost like baseball spring training in a way, or basketball summer camps. A lot of these players will be going to their AAU teams. And a travel.
Wait for the East there to force a travel there. Yeah, the defense played here thus far, the effort put in is really, surprise wouldn't be the word, but I'm very happy to see it. You don't know what you're going to expect sometimes doing. It's our first time doing this all-star game, and the defense level's been great.
Good awareness, just couldn't get the point-blank make. Three-pointer on the way, off to the right. 10 minutes to go, 6-point lead for the East. On the left wing, back to the top by the volleyball line. Good handles, almost looked like he lost his balance there. Corner three coming up, off by just a little. And it rolls out, it will stay here with the East. Of course, also, Zach, you have to mention that these players are not finished products, and you certainly are seeing that at times. But there's some really good coaches in the region that have been able to take talent like this and develop it even more and push their boundaries a bit.
Exactly, and that's what it is. Like you said, great reverse layup there on the end in transition, but these guys are not finished products at all. And if you're a coach, you're looking at this in the flashes they are showing in this, saying, okay, we can work with that.
What a rejection!
I'll tell you what, the young man came over with the green headband to make that block. He looked like Mitchell Robinson for the Knicks there, coming over on the weak side. That was fun.
Green headband, yellow shoes. Looking flashy and making a flashy play with that block underneath. And the Knicks started their playoff run yesterday with a opening win. I believe they're playing the Atlanta Hawks.
Yep.
Ball ripped away. West pushing it. One-man show going down the lane. No one picked up the man with the ball. And now the East trying to cherry pick a bit. A challenge at the rim. That's missed. 2-point game. West has a chance to take the lead for the first time. Good save before it rolls out of bounds. Open lane, and we're tied at 14. The East led the whole way. They were up 6-0 before the West got on the board. And now that West team has started to find their rhythm offensively.
Yes, they've been able to make some stops and then get out in transition is really where they've made their hay here in this comeback.
Pick and roll situation. Open man on the back cut. Going up with it. And the East has extended the lead to 2 now. No help defense. A bump in the bucket. And the West has a chance to take their first lead.
Man, they are getting everything they want inside that free throw line. Good things happen, Andrew, when you're getting inside the free throw line, down there closer to the hoop. Everything else opens up from there.
And kudos to the West. Remember, early on in this game, a lot of their shots were getting rejected underneath, but they're still going right into the teeth of the defense and starting to pay off for them, getting the points in the paint.
Well, it's kind of like what they say in football. You know, you keep running up the middle, you try and weaken that defense over the time of the game. You're doing the same here. Keep penetrating that defense. The bigs keep coming over trying to contest. If they have to keep doing it and then start putting your body into them, you put the body into the shot blocker, you're going to start wearing them down.
You know to tell that the East badly missed 3. Not communicating very well on defense either, as no one came over to help after the point guard penetrated the defense. And here it is again. At least the help was there. They rotated to the top. 3 short. So back-to-back badly missed 3s. Again, they're 8th graders. It's going to happen. And remind me, the college three-point line is a little bit longer than the middle school, high school three-point line.
Yep.
So they're also shooting 3s at that not their normal range. A steal out in front, and they called a foul. And again, there's athleticism being shown.
Young man on the bench head tapping there, showing his teammate he almost got dunked on there. I'll tell you what, if you get dunked on the 8th grade Rising Stars team, if I were a teammate, I don't know if I'd let him get by either. Let me tell you, though, if I were on this court, I would have been caught under the rim a couple times by now. Rotations when I was, my 6th grade year, not very good.
Were you the man in the middle that just stood there with the hands up and hoped?
I think I was wider than I was tall. And they knew that. They took advantage of it. I wouldn't call myself a brick wall. That'd be too nice. I'd call myself a cement feet.
My nickname when I played basketball was the garbage man. I only wanted the rebounds. Couldn't do much else beyond that.
I wanted the rebounds. I just couldn't get them.
A buried three-pointer. And after the West got the lead, the East has taken it right back. Now 19-17. Under 6 minutes. Happy to be here on the Region Sports Network at the Darius Garland All-Star Games. East versus West. This is the 8th grade Rising Stars game. Or correction, the Futures game. We'll see the Rising Stars later.
Got to give a big thank you of today's coverage of the 2026 Darius Garland Region All-Star Games is made possible by Bilko's Barbershop. Give them a call today at 219-886-1483. Thank you very much to Bilko's Barbershop.
Zach, well, you just got a haircut recently. Did you go to Bilko's?
Yeah.
Another 3 for the East.
I'll tell you, they gave me a little bit of a nice cut where I went, but I think it could have got a little better if I went to Bilko's. Maybe looking a little right. Always room for improvement.
A steal, a layup, and an 8-0 run by the East after they went down. Another poke ball away. One-man wrecking crew. 3-on-1 and a foul called.
Got to be careful with the ball coming past half court against that young man. He is looking to take it away if you're having a lazy dribble. Twice in a row there.
He made the layup the first time. This time he draws contact, and we'll have to try and earn these two at the charity stripe. First one off to the left. I would say, Zach, that a lot of these players have shown that they can shoot, that they can play good defense, they can pass the ball. But I believe a lot of these 8th graders are going to have to learn how to make some free throws. Seen a couple of them struggle so far. Going 1 for 2.
He was listening to you there. But yes, you got to work on that at all levels, is getting your free throws made, taking advantage of the charity stripe shots. But like you said, though, I want to emphasize on, especially in this 2026 era of basketball, if you want to be a good player, you can't just be good at one thing. You got to be good at everything. Like you're saying, all these players, they're handling well. They're finishing at the rim. They're passing. They're making shots from the outside. They're defending their position. If you want to be a great player in today's game, you got to be good at almost every facet.
Ball staying on this side for the West. That's another thing that they changed about IHSAA. It used to be the 1-and-1 situations, but now it's a double bonus automatically. And that's really changed some games also, because you used to foul the worst free throw shooter. They missed the first one. They wouldn't get that second one, and you had a chance to go down the floor and score.
Yep. I'll tell you, it might be contradictory to what I said about the shot clock, but I actually agree with that rule. I don't know. I just don't really like seeing when guys get hacked and put them on
the hack-a-shack.
Yeah, I guess I just don't really like it. Maybe it's because I was a big guy that would get hack-a-zacked, but
hack-a-zacked.
But yeah, the 5'11" big man. I had to retire in 7th grade. Doctor said I'd grow the 6'5", stopped a half a foot short. What are you gonna do? Stop me before it could even start. The Hall of Fame run was just getting ready.
Was Coach trying to get you to come back after you told him that you were hanging them up?
Oh, that was only for football. I had to do that one. Basketball, they just said thanks. Said good riddance.
2 minutes to go. 6-point lead for the East. 3-point on its way. Off the mark. Open down low. Easy 2. Andrew Mile with Zach Miller here on the Region Sports Network. We come to the final 2 minutes of our first game of a full slate on the Region Sports Network. You thought basketball season was over?
Think again.
That was a bad pass into the bench of the West.
Casper was open back there.
Of course, baseball and softball coverage is in full swing on the Region Sports Network. Crown Point off to a great start, you were telling me, Zach.
Yes, I tell you, Crown Point off to an incredible start. They're able to get down with their pitching has been great, led by Johnston. Their offense has been stellar. Sean Dunlap having a couple Ironworkers 395 play of the games in a row there with some deep shots.
It was a good floater, a steal, a rejection, a cleanup off the back iron, just rolled off. The West could have tied the game with about a minute to go. Here comes the press. The East to half court. Corner 3. That could have been the nail in the coffin. But the West still alive. And the East pressing them. You can tell this is an all-star game. You wouldn't see that in a normal situation. West can't tie it. Now they do on the second chance look. 25 all with 42 seconds. Looking like we're going to have a thrilling finish, and that's a bad 3. Well short of the cup. That was a good pass, but they weren't expecting it. Back out, 25 seconds. The 3, and that one's left short. Second chance look coming up. Attacking the defense, and a foul called. And that clock's been running, so I wonder if they're going to let him shoot his free throws, and if he makes one of them, the West wins the game.
Yep. Or?
It looks like it, because they're sending everyone back to their benches. The buzzer's about to sound. And the music's also coming on. So this player has got the chance to win the game.
No pressure.
And he wins it for the West. I'll let him shoot one more. But that just sealed the fate for our first game. the 8th grade All-Stars. And the West will win by a final of 26-25. Oh, correction, there will be a halftime. 5-minute halftime. And then I believe we'll have a 20-minute second half then. Now we'll run right into the next game. So we will take a break as you're watching Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
IBEW Local 697 isn't just wiring buildings. We're woven into the very fabric of Northwest Indiana. We're your neighbors. Our kids go to school with yours. We stand in the same bleachers cheering for the same high school teams. When you hire a union electrician, you're not just getting the highest quality work. You're supporting our community. IBEW Local 697, proudly powering our own.
Get Pulse Technology on your team. Hit a home run with our managed print and copier services, IT and technology solutions, office furniture and design services, office supplies, scoreboards, and AV solutions.
Earn while you learn from the best hands in the business. The Bricklayers Allied Craftworkers for Indiana, Kentucky Apprenticeship. That's right, this is a paid apprenticeship.
I'm getting an education while learning a trade and getting paid for it.
The thing that surprised me the most about this apprenticeship program is the respect I have received after the proper time and training.
Classes start soon, so apply now. There are training centers throughout Indiana and Kentucky. We are the Bricklayers and Allied Craftworkers for Indiana, Kentucky Apprenticeship. The best hands in the business.
At American Testing Services, based in Hobart, Indiana, we specialize in NDT drone inspections and heat treatment services for local mills, fab shops, and facilities across the country. From Northwest Indiana to nationwide, we deliver precision, safety, and reliability. American Testing Services, America's trusted name in NDT.
With electrical services from Economy Electric Heating and Cooling, you can radiate the perfect amount of light and energy into your home. From rewiring and code upgrades to ceiling fans, lighting, security, and more, Economy Electric Heating and Cooling's trained electricians will make sure you can enjoy your home on full power all the time. For a free estimate on electrical work, call Economy Electric Heating and Cooling at 219-923-4441, and you can visit them on the web at 4ajobdoneright.com. That's the number 4ajobdoneright.com.
You're watching coverage of the 2026 Darius Garland Region All-Star Games on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town. Andrew Mild, and joining me is Zach Miller. We're at halftime of Game 1 in the 8th grade Region All-Stars game. And Zach, what was your initial thoughts? Of course, this is the first time we've covered this, so we're really sure about the format, but we're seeing some really nice talent out there.
Yes, I think the talent on the floor right now is very evident, but more than that, the effort is there. You know, you don't know, you come into these all-star games, especially with basketball and the NBA, you have this preconceived thought of thinking, okay, it's going to be some lazy defense, hero ball, throwing up shots, not really giving your best effort. That's been the opposite here. It's been guys sharing the ball. They've been trying to get inside. They've been playing good defense, even some hard fouls, just trying to prevent guys from scoring. It's been a dedicated effort here to try and win this game, you know. And there's been some gamesmanship I saw in that final free throw there. Some guys are chirping to try and get them to miss in the whole bit. I love that. So, yeah, in this first half, Andrew, it's been very, very competitive, to give a word to it. Much more competitive than maybe some would think going into an all-star game here.
You have the East in the red and the West in the navy. The West leads by 1, and that was after they got off to a slow start. East really controlled the better part of that first half, but the West was able to find their groove and see if they can protect this lead and walk away with a win to start off this full slate of all-star games.
Yes, protect their lead, and I'd say for each team here, the key point is to try and prevent them from getting out in transition, because that's really where each team, when they made their runs, their respective runs were built off of getting stops and then pushing it up in transition with those outlet passes. Whoever can stop them, the other team, and get the more points in transition in the second half, I think is going to be the one to win.
If you're just tuning in, it's 20-minute halves and also a 30-second shot clock. Coming out of the break, the East went for a mid-range, and one of the West players tipped it in.
So who are you putting that one to? Who scored that?
Did that go to the player who shot the mid-range shot? Is that how that works?
I believe it goes to the person who was the closest to the ball.
The bump in the bucket, an and one play for the West. One way to answer after a very unique way to start the second half.
We touched on it earlier about finishing through contact. Let's say there's been 10 shooting fouls in this game. I'd say maybe 6 to 7 of them have been finished for and ones. Yeah, I did that.
Seeing body control from the 8th graders. Still developing and growing, of course. They convert the and one play. And of course, Darius Garland, who is hosting these all-star games. Not a big guy himself, but very intelligent, and he's a great shooter. He participated in the three-point contest at the All-Star game last season.
Incredibly skilled player, like you said. He's not beating people off his size, but off of his skill and his craftiness and his intelligence, exactly like you said.
There's a three, and it's buried.
You don't become a high-impact contributor in an all-star in the NBA by being 6'1" without having all of those attributes.
He reminds me of an old-timey type of basketball player. And another and one. What a hot start both teams are off to in this second half.
I always saw, because I remember, I've been a Chicago Bulls fan. Kobe White did some good things to the Bulls.
That's true.
But I wanted them to draft Garland, of course, and him being here and from I'm a Vanderbilt fan. I always thought he reminded me of Mike Conley. When he was
I could see that. Mike Conley also a Hoosier himself.
Exactly, so he's just a really crafty, smart point guard, especially in a league today where everyone wants to be a combo guard and not really focus on getting your teammates involved.
Right.
He very much is of that mold of getting his teammates involved first and then scoring if need be. Clippers got a good one. James Harden's an incredible player, but to get a guy who's, an aging star in James Harden and flip him for a guy like Darius Garland, great move for them.
And the Clippers have an older team themselves. Nice feed to a cutting player on the left block, 2 more points. But Garland, I feel like the type of player you can build around, and he can make the other players around him better.
Yes, indeed, and that's what they're betting for, and they want a guy who can carry the load of the offense while, going into this. Kawhi Leonard, of course, he's aging and he's faced a lot of injury issues himself. They want to have a guy who can control that offense while he's either out or managing his rest and whatnot. And even for the era after Kawhi Leonard and those aging players they have around them, you can build a team around Garland, get some pieces there, and you can maybe be a competitive team in the West going forward.
Yes, you slightly hinted about the load management that has become very popular in the modern NBA. No look pass, stolen away. I got to mention, Zach, that player in the green headband has been very active. He's been doing some of the hard, gritty work for the West, crashing for rebounds, playing good defense. Been really impressed with him.
Yes, I like him as a big man coming up. He is doing all the right things.
And we know you love your big men down low.
Oh, a good box out, it makes me very happy. if you get like 15 great box outs compared to 50 points, I know which game I'm picking.
You're watching basketball for different reasons.
I'll tell you, the one kid
There's a three.
The one kid on the East team was doing a couple drop steps in the post there earlier. I was happy.
Instead of marking down points and rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, you're just putting out box outs. BOs in the box score.
I personally do hook shots per 36, but I digress. I'll make that stat if it doesn't exist.
And that's a turnover. The West player had his heels on the out-of-bounds line. 34 all with 15:43 in the second half. Andrew Bile with Zach Miller.
I wanted to ask you, Andrew, about I know you brought up briefly load management. What do you think about it, particularly in the NBA?
I just have to say that learning about Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, those were two players that played as many games as they could because they understood that some of these fans that were attending the games couldn't afford, so they have to save up and go to the game. You know how heartbreaking it has to be for a 10-year-old to want to go see their favorite player? They could be from, say, Indiana, and their favorite player plays in L.A., or they play in New York, where they can't go see him. And the one time they get a chance to, they're sitting out because of load management, not for injuries, not for personal reasons, just because they have a second game the next day.
Yes, and I could see both sides because I understand.
Right.
It's like where interests converge there, because I can understand why, because it's not really the players that do that. It's the organizations that say, we're putting this $65 million a year asset. We don't want to get them hurt. And I understand that if you're the organizations why you do that. But that's when people have to intervene and say, yeah, we understand that. But this isn't like some assembly line product here you're trying to get the most efficiency on. This is entertainment. And you know how people get $65 million for any professional athlete? They're not getting paid $65 million to shoot a basketball into a hoop and play that. They're doing it because they're entertainers.
That's true.
Okay? If you had nobody showing up and watching the games, you don't get a penny.
That's true.
Everyone plays basketball and plays sports for free. Okay, these people get paid millions of dollars because people pay to watch them. So that you have that service to the fans and the people that make your contract, to me, to play that. So that's my opinion on it. But also I could see, particularly for basketball, the game compared to how it was played 15 years ago, 10 years ago, especially 20 and 30 years ago, the game is much faster now.
That's true.
So much more defenders and offenders as well are asked to play on so much more of the floor now, from the three-point line to driving to the rim. Think about big men where you have to defend all the way out to the three-point line rather than sitting in front of the hoop usually. So these players are asked to do much more with their body than they were of years past, so their bodies are getting stressed to the limit. So my thing would be, I would almost, in the NBA at least, add a couple more roster spots where you can have guys play more minutes in a game.
That's true.
Because that way you won't have to get injuries. Because there are guys, you look at Halliburton, you look at Jason Tatum, you look at these guys once they're getting to this point in the NBA playoffs to where it's a lot of these increases in these lower body injuries where it's just the load, like the Achilles and the ACL and whatnot. They just can't hold up over the course of a year with all that movement.
Shot slightly off. And nice save. Layup is good, and the East now leads by 4. Another point I want to touch on, too, is do you think that's also the possibility of them having now extra playoff spots? That was a beautiful behind-the-back, no-look pass, and it leads to a foul. The West will go to the line. But now you're seeing even the 9 and 10 seeds get the chance to make the playoffs as a play-in. And that's the kind of the argument you hear from load management, is that these games don't matter. It only matters when we get to the playoffs.
Right. I mean, I think, we know the reasons why they do it. It makes it, frankly, the NBA wants more interesting games at the end of the year so they can get more money out of it. But, I think, but also it's an incredible fan experience. It makes those games more memorable at the end of the year because you kind of get to the end of the regular season, you're thinking, are there any games really worthwhile to watch,
That's
until
true.
the playoffs start? And you have those playing games that adds a few more games at the end of the year for fans to say, I want to watch into this. This is going to be some good competitive basketball.
We also have the art of tanking, something that the Bulls have been going through this season.
And will do for the future.
So that midway point, 30, 40 games, you start to figure out who's the pretenders and who's the contenders. So the contenders start shopping around. The pretenders start to trade off some of their best assets. They want picks, and that's what we saw Oklahoma City do. They had so many first-round picks, and that's what led to them having this incredible team and winning the title last year in 7 against Indiana. 3-point game. East leads. Can they make it a 6-point game? Left short. Rebound corralled in, and the floater strikes iron. That was a bad pass. No one there except for an East defender. Taking it to the cup. He's bumped, and countless and ones are going down for either side.
That was some incredible body control there. He did a Euro step from right leg to the left, bounced off his left leg, threw the ball from his left arm to his right and threw it up. That was some impressive body control there to get, not just to get it into the hoop, but get the ball up to the rim.
I got to say, watching this game, I'm getting more and more excited when we hit that late fall, winter months, and we'll see some of these faces play for their varsity teams. Others will play freshmen, really depending on what program they're going to be a part of. But these are players in 2 or 3 years down the road that they're going to possibly be starters or just top-of-the-line bench players.
Yes, these are some names you're going to be hearing and watching that are going to be instant contributors, I think, for some of these players. I mean, if you're in an all-star game as an 8th grader, you might be able to get some minutes early and then make an impact. I mean, I look at a player who's going to be playing later today, Charles Hardiman of Maryville. He was one of the best players in the area as a freshman, and then this year as a sophomore. You get players like that. Usually you have to wait for some of these, 8th graders coming up as freshmen and then as they're underclassmen not getting minutes. But I'll tell you what, if there's any players in the area that are going to be getting early minutes and able to contribute, it's going to be the young men on the floor today.
Yeah, the DAC, what a season it was for one of the premier conferences in Northwest Indiana. Of course, Crown Point making it down to state. But we saw some teams grow. Chesterton, I was really impressed with them this year. Portage, I mean, that was a really young team. If you remember, they were the only undefeated team left in the region until they lost to Crown Point, and they had a high turnover rate. That was a team you thought would maybe finish midway to the bottom of the DAC. But they were a top 3 team, but just behind Chesterton and Crown Point. It's a long 3 and nothing but nylon. Cuts the East lead in half. It's now just 3. No-look pass, and a backwards layup kisses off the glass. 5-point game. That was a football-like pass down low, ball being tipped away. The West comes up with it, and a turnover stepping on the line.
Real fast pace here. I wonder if anyone gets the lead here, if they're going to try and slow it down a little bit here once we get closer to the end of the game, We'll see, because both teams have been playing just breakneck speed.
Oh, it feels like a track meet in this game. Both teams also not afraid to get physical in this all-star game. That is a rainbow 3, not enough on it. Behind the back, breaking the press.
He's broken the press maybe 5 times with that move this game.
That is the 3rd time that poor player wearing the teal shoes has stepped on the out-of-bounds line. Usually it's on this near side, this time on the far side.
Got to get some smaller shoes.
Transition 3 and hit Kalanks off the glass.
Good effort. Trying to save that ball out of bounds, putting pressure on the ball handler there.
But looking ahead, Zach, you're way too early power rankings. Is there a boys basketball team that you're really excited to watch in the 2026-2027 season?
Well, I know they graduated a lot, but I want to give respect to the Crown Point Bulldogs. Not saying that they're going to be the best, no, but I do think when you have a coaching staff led by Coach Swan and them in this champion, they didn't win the state championship, but getting down there in the many past years, they're going to be losing a lot. But I thought they had some good underclassmen, some good guys off the bench that'll be coming back.
MJ Wilson was really impressive down the stretch.
MJ Wilson, yes, they had some guys coming off the bench there that were able to contribute that I think are going to be able to step up this year, and especially learning from that experience of not just this year, but the past couple of years of making some deep playoff runs. I think they're going to be able to surprise some people, because I think, like you said, the very early power rankings are saying, oh, they're going to lose a lot, they did this, their whole class is gone, whatnot, they're going to fall off. I wouldn't be so sure. Look what happened with Portage. Now, of course, they didn't make as deep of a run. When you have a great coach like Ryan Klaus there, they lost a lot coming into this season, as you mentioned. When you have that great coaching and the expectations of success, I think it just carries over from group to group.
I'd be interested to see what Maryville looks like. You mentioned Charles Hardiman earlier. They got off to a really bad start. There's no other way to put it. But their chemistry started to click in, and they were playing some really tough teams pretty close, and they got some big wins down the stretch themselves. So Maryville can continue to develop, and Charles Hardiman continues to produce at the level he has. Who knows? The Maryville Pirates really known for their football team. Could be a basketball season to remember.
Well, what happened there, Andrew, if I'm not mistaken, Hardeman got hurt toward the beginning of the year. So that lull they had in the middle stretches, great spin move there. Going into the lane, just missed the and one opportunity. But Hardeman was hurt during the middle of part of the year, so they were missing their guy because he was one of the better young players in the state.
He ended up leading the DAC in scoring this year.
In the limited amount of action he had. So if you can get a full season of him, another off season of development going into his junior year, like you said, watch out. I think the Pirates can have a season to remember if they're able to keep him on the floor.
Today's coverage of the 2026 Darius Garland Region All-Star Games is made possible by Bilko's Barbershop. Give them a call at 219-886-1483. Friendly roll splits the pair. 4-point game. Under 6 minutes to go in the second half. There was a trap by the half-court line. Head fake. Missed shot. Runs it down. 5.5 minutes. And a steal. And body's hitting the ground. That will be a foul. Going on the east.
Took his cookies there.
Both teams really active hands. Been really impressed. I feel that they've been reaching also under control. I haven't seen too many reach-in fouls.
Yep, nothing easy. They're not letting people just get to the rim or get even past the three-point line, really, without having some good ball pressure. Active hands, like you mentioned.
Corner three dialed up, and it rattles home. Green Headband has had himself an incredible game.
Shot the gap there, trying to get the steal.
Timeout called by the East. Some good awareness by their head coach.
I didn't even know they had timeouts.
They called one earlier.
Well, I was paying attention, wasn't I?
I believe you were talking about the load management, something along those realms.
Oh, my spiel. That's
yeah,
right.
Your spiel. You're a bit of a tangent when it was going on. I didn't want to interrupt you during it. But again, we have a lot of games going on today. Leo Stoniker will be joining you for the next game, which I believe is 8th grade girls. So we'll see them, and then we'll also see the Rising Stars after that. The boys scheduled for 2:30, the ladies at 3:30, and then at 5 o'clock is the boys region all-star game. All here on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town. Andrew Mild with Zach Miller. Clock stopped at 4:43 due to the East timeout. Zach, how'd your bracket do this year?
I'm going to give you a really bad opinion here, Andrew. I've never filled out a bracket in my life.
You've never filled out a March Madness bracket?
Never done a fantasy football team either. Don't do
it. You just decide to not have fun? Is that what I'm hearing over here?
I don't like it.
Why not?
I don't know. It's I'll go on another tangent if you want me to, but I will save it for the final 5 minutes here. I believe it takes away from the purity of how I like to watch sports.
Okay.
It's not so much a moral thing. I wouldn't go so strong for that, but it takes away from how I like to view it. So.
Okay. I don't think I've ever heard that before.
Everyone always says that. I don't do it. It doesn't really appeal to me. It's not how I like to watch sports. I don't really care.
Did you have a favorite going into the tournament, a team that you thought was going to win?
I thought pretty highly of I thought Arizona.
I did too. That was my team.
Of Arizona. I was rooting heavily for Purdue.
I know Leo over here is an Arizona State graduate, so he's probably happy they got knocked out in the Final Four by Michigan.
Yes, Kevin was happy about that. So, yeah, I'd say I was rooting heavily for Purdue. You saw Braden Smith, of course, broke the assist record. I was quite happy about that. I was liking their chances going forward because they had some experience. They had a lot of experience between Smith, Lawyer, TKR, and whatnot. Bent Painter. I just want to see him get over the hump. He's probably the best coach in the nation that hasn't won it all yet. So there's my bracket. My bracket's looking for the one team I want. Bad answer.
I'm really impressed with UConn this year. I didn't think that was going to be a team that was going to go very far, but they upset Duke, which I believe 30 or 40% of the brackets nationwide had Duke winning it all.
Indiana kid, Mullins, getting the game-winning shot
Yes, from Greenfield.
Yep.
That was a remarkable play. Ball tipped at half court, a three from well beyond NBA range, nothing but net. And that was UConn's third trip to the national championship in 4 years, and the first time losing. 2.5 minutes. Good pressure by the East, and a foul.
Just quickly on that point, kind of like what we said earlier, talking about teams you think in the area that are going to be good going into next year. That's how I feel about UConn. You go into it saying, okay, they're losing a lot.
Right.
Culture and great coaching and great tradition, those transfer year over year. If you keep the same guys, that's what happened to UConn. That's what I think could happen in this area with Crown Points and Portages and whatnot.
You know what I find interesting about this time of year in college basketball is when the transfer portal opens up and you're starting to now see teams have to announce who's coming back instead of who's leaving, and the recruits they're getting from the high school level on the way up. That was a intentionally missed free throw, but the rule is you have to at least hit iron.
That looked like me from three.
Reminds me of that one video of Spice Adams from the Chicago Bears where he's just grabbing threes and chucking them at the cup, and he's not even close.
I'm telling you, I felt like that just was like me, but in a different way.
He was intentionally missing those threes. You, on the other hand, were thinking about just taking the shoes off and going home after a few of those.
I just throw and hope. I take the rosary every time I take a shot.
9 seconds left on the shot clock. Into the corner. Here's a big three. It's off. Chance to tie for the West. They're pushing it down the floor. Numbers for the East. Running floater. It's missed. Long rebound corral by the East. A challenge at the rim and a foul. Bumped him with the elbow.
For the West there, like we were saying, they're playing so fast now. I would have loved if they just took the ball out to the three-point line, play a little patient there, let your players and your teammates come back to you, and try and get a better shot than that, just, forcing the shot up.
51 seconds. First free throw is good. As we're starting to see some of the rising stars for the girls division work their way into the gym here at IUN in Gary, Indiana.
What a beautiful gym.
10 out of 10. And even looking at some of the banners, the IU and Redhawks have had some success at the NAIA level. The men's team made the national tournament, and so did the women's in 2025.
Conference champions 24-25 here in the CCSC that they compete in.
I'll have to try and get over here this next season and check out some Redhawks basketball. Good idea, but a good deflection by the East. They're up by 3. There's a 7-second difference between the shot clock and game clock. And timeout East. They were ready to call a jump ball, and which would have belonged to the East regardless, but at least they now keep the possession arrow in case there is a jump ball tie-up.
Smart move there, smart move.
We're not sure how many timeouts both sides received, but we at least know that was the second one burned by the East. Coverage of today's All-Star festivities are made thanks to Bilko's Barbershop, voted as the top barbershop in Lake County. Zach Miller joining me, Andrew Mile, for Game 1. We have 4 more for you today. A long day for the Region Sports Network, but if you're missing basketball season, this is a good time to get back on the Region Sports Network and hit the hardwood again here in mid-April.
Some call today busy. Others here at the Region Sports Network called another Sunday.
Just another day on the beach.
Another day in paradise here.
Gotta get you a cheeseburger, right?
Oh, a couple.
26 seconds. The East inbound it. 15 seconds left on the shot clock. And an intentional foul by the West. And they will stop the clock at 18.9 seconds. So that's the first time we've seen the clock be stopped when someone goes to the free throw line. And this is a 1-and-1. So if he misses the first one, the West could get the rebound and push it down the floor. And that's a crucial free throw.
Clutch make.
Makes it a two-possession game. 48-44. If you're the West, you go down and take a three. You're just trying to get a quick two and send them back to the line.
Get the best shot. Whatever comes to you quickest.
5-point game. Good pressure by the East. Rolls out of bounds. West regains the possession. They'll inbound it in front of the scorer's table. 13.3 seconds. They get it in. Long three. It's off. Offensive rebound. Life still for the West. Step back three. That's a hoist. It's off. And another chance. A third chance look. And that one's off, and the game is over. As the East, coming into this half, trailed by one. They'll start off these All-Star Game festivities with a 5-point win. Zach, that was a fun game.
That was very fun. Competitive down to the last play there, getting a couple shots at the three-point line. What a blast we have here.
We will step aside, and we will come back to wrap up this first game and get you ready for the Lady Rising Stars game. You're watching Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Sometimes the hardest part of improving your business isn't coming up with a great idea. It's knowing what to do with it. Chester Inc. Architectural and Construction Services is ready to meet all your industrial and commercial construction needs. Whether it's a small build-out or a complete construction project, Chester will design, build, and finance. Our team eliminates multiple contractors, providing you a single point of contact while staying within your budget. Chester Inc. Architectural and Construction Services, turning your ideas into realities.
You ready? Let's go! Yeah! For those of you that want to know what we're all about, it's like this, y'all. This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, 100% reason to remember the name.
Your future starts
here!
You're watching coverage of the 2026 Darius Garland Region All-Star Games on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town. Andrew Mild with Zach Miller. And Zach, usually when you see a full slate of games like this, we have 5 games, you usually sit down and watch the first one to see how the rest of the day is going to go. And if the 4 games after this are anything like this first game, it's going to be a really fun day of basketball here in Gary.
They're going to have some competition level to work to meet up here for these next 4 games we have, because this first one, as you mentioned, had complete competitiveness, great effort all the way out from the start, from opening tip to the final stretch there. It was a great game, competitive all the way out. If we can have that for the rest of the 4, we're going to have a great day.
Congratulations to the 16 players that participated in this 8th grade Region Futures game. We look forward to seeing them in the future on the Region Sports Network. Time to give out some thank yous to executive producer Chris Ramirez, operations manager Rich Castillo, and sports director Mike Dewan. Special thanks goes to IU Northwest, Ryan Shelton, the AD here at IUN, Darius Garland, Italy, and Winston Garland, who is at half court about to present a trophy to the East All-Stars who got the win. And the viewers on regionsports.com, YouTube/Region Sports, and Facebook/Region Sports Nation. For our camera operator, Aaron Svetlin, our producer, Zach Sinelli, my partner, Zach Miller. That's Miller with 2 I's and 2 L's. I've been Andrew Mild. This has been Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Tonight's broadcast is made possible by Strack & Van Til, your favorite Indiana-made grocery store. Crowell Insurance Company, the insurance superheroes. Ironworkers, Local 395, proud to be union. Four Seasons Mechanical, quality and comfort is our guarantee. Boilermakers, Local 374, earn while you learn. Pulse Technology, leading the way in technological innovation for over 70 years. Visit Michigan City LaPorte, closer than you think, better than you imagine. IBEW Local 697, proud to support high school sports. Bricklayers Local 4, the best hands in the business. Economy Electric Heating and Cooling, keeping you cool in the summer and cozy in the winter. Mark Macknick, Chicagoland Tax Professionals.